Hi guys, I hope you are enjoying the event. And just between you and networking break, there is one session we have. It is a very interesting session. It is going to be led by Viral. He is a developer by heart, and then he's going to talk about how you can go headless with the Shopify. Shopify has been one of the highest sold e-commerce platform, which is based on you can say cloud edition. But now Viral is going to tell how you can unlock the power of storefront with Shopify and make e-commerce better. Viral, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Vatsal, for introducing me. So, hello everyone. My hope all you are doing good and healthy in this 2021. Uh, so today we are going to explore something interesting, which is go headless with Shopify using VSF Next Developers Guide. Hence, it is Developers Guide. The session will be quite technical, and let me introduce myself before starting with my part of presentation. So, my name is Viral Rana, and I am associated as a senior web developer with Oriat Labs Private Limited. I am also VSF Next Shopify integrator and maintainer, and having 7 years of working experience. So let's go through the today's agenda. Today we are going to discuss why we need Shopify headless and how Vue Storefront Next is helpful to make it incredibly straightforward. Then a basic understanding and knowledge required before starting with Shopify headless development. Then we will jump to the Shopify store connection with your headless CMS, and then after we will getting familiar with Shopify by JavaScript SDK. Then we'll explore Shopify by connection client, and we'll get some basic understanding of GraphQL and queries and mutation. Then we will discuss on how PW headless is going to support app stores. And the last one will be Shopify integration demo, which is currently running on VSF Next version 2.2.1, and which is currently work in progress. So let's start with prerequisites. So before you start with Shopify headless development, you should have basic knowledge of Vue.js and Nuxt.js. A Node.js version 10 or higher install on your system. Obviously, Yarn should be installed on your system. You can also use npm, but Yarn is recommended here. A Shopify store required, basic understanding of GraphQL queries, and obviously a sweet smile on your face. So enough with preambles. Let's get started. Many of you having a question in your mind that why we need Shopify headless. Of course, we have a traditional approach as well. We have a Shopify available. So why we need Shopify headless? So before jump to the answer, let me go through the problem with traditional web development approach. So in traditional web development, you are knowing that front end and back end are tightly coupled, and which is results into slow, unresponsive store and painful migrations. Here, painful migrations, I mean that if for some reason if you want to migrate from one platform to another one, of course because of some better maintenance, better performance and lower cost, then what is the solution? Do you again need to reinvest more? Do again you need to redevelop entire your web app, or do you have again dedicated team and entire web development scenario? So answer is no. Yes, now we have a composable commerce, right? So solution is in modern trend of composable commerce, that is a need to integrate some headless CMS with any e-commerce backend stores like Shopify. And we have an amazing technology which make it incredibly straightforward is Vue Storefront Next. So let's see how we can achieve it. The very first step of the Shopify integration development is creating private app. For that, you should have Shopify store, and after logging to your Shopify store, just at the left hand side of your navigation bar, you will find the app menu, and from that app menu, you can create the app that will return API key, uh, and just not the API key, as well as your storefront domain, which is suffixed with .myshopify.com. Here, for example, vsf-next-pwa.myshopify.com for us. So now we have storefront access token is ready and the domain is ready. So we are ready for the configuration. Before starting with the segment of configuration, let understand a basic architecture of the Vue Storefront Next. So in Vue Storefront Next, there are two main core packages. The one is Shopify API client and another one is Shopify composable functions. API client resides into API client directory, and a composable function is resides into the composables. The remaining part is a theme directory, which is basically responsible for the front end rendering, and it is in that theme directory. Uh, uh, you can core at the core root of the theme directory, you can find out the nux.config.js file, which is a entry point of the Nux theme. So let's configure the credential which we have retrieved from our Shopify backend. So first you should have a open the nux.config.js file, and into the @Vue storefront / Shopify / nux section, you can have to replace the domain value with your Shopify store domain and the storefront access token with your API key, which we have recently created using the creating private app. So now we have configured our AP credentials. Now it's time to establish the connection between our front-end headless CMS and a Shopify backend to make the data transmission enabled. And for that, we are using the Shopify by SDK, which is from the Shopify itself, and it is ultimately using the GraphQL queries that we will discuss later on. So first, you should have Shopify by package installed on your project directory, which resides into the node modules directory, and you can see that in the API client /src/ index.ts file, you should have to import the client, which is a method from the Shopify by package, and on setup method you have to make the connection using client.build client. Here, not that build client is a method from the Shopify by JS SDK, and you can retrieve the credentials using settings object.api. So now we are ready to make the data transmission, and we are ready to make the initiate the first request. So let's understand what is the standard request flow for the Vue Storefront Next. So as per Vue Storefront Next architecture, we have three main parts. The first one is Nux theme, another one is composables, and the third one is API client. So our request is initiate from any page or any component of the Nux theme to composables factory method. A factory method now handle this request with the custom parameters and pass it to the API client. Now API client is responsible for the make a call using GraphQL client and Shopify by and to the Shopify admin area. As a result, Shopify will return the graph model, and it is returned again to the composable, and composable again return it to the Nux theme. So many of you are having a question that why we are directly not calling the API client from the Nux theme, why we have composables in between. So answer is, as you know, there are many e-commerce platforms available in marketplace, and and each have its own data format as a response. So there must be some mechanism that will make all the data format universal, and make the some operations on the responses directly from any of the backend, and pass it to the theme, so that it can be easily readable and retrieved by the getters method to the theme. Okay, let's understand the step-by-step process of the request flow. First, flow is make a request using composables from Nux theme page or component. So here you can see that we have a /theme/pages/category.vue file, which is overridden from the core Nux theme package, and uh, for to use any composable API, you must have to import it from Vue storefront slash Shopify package. And on setup method, you should have to extract any of the factory method. Here, for example, we are extracting search method, which is a factory method of use facet composable, and store the data in the result constant. And on SSR, we are initializing our first request search and passing some parameter as an argument to the composable. Now we are on the composable directory, and now it's time to handle the first request, which is search request. And for that, we are importing context, use facet factory, use search result from the Vue storefront slash core package. And using this search method, um, you can return the response and initiate the API client to the API client directory. So let's see what is the next step. So it's time to initialize the request to the API client. This is the code snippet of composable slash src slash use facet slash index.ts file, where we have initiated a API client request using context dot dollar shopify dot api dot get category. Now the question is, what is dollar shopify and why dollar shopify is here, and what is context? So let me give you a brief of context. Basically, context is coming from the Vue storefront core, and it is a stack which consists of configuration details and all the API methods available. And to access those methods, you should have a tag name, which is a Shopify. We have initiated in the API client slash src slash index.ts file, at where we have built our Shopify by client. So this tag is basically going to consist all the API methods in API object, and we are using the dollar shopify dot api and extracting the get category method and passing the category slug as a parameter. So the next step is to make the request to Shopify backend from the API client. Here in the code snippet, we have used the get category method of the API client, and using context dot client dot collection dot fetch all with products. So not that fetch all with products is a method from the Shopify by JS client, JS SDK client, and we are requesting something and trigger the request to the Shopify admin area, which will as a result returns us a graph model. And in the graph model, you can see that all the property can be easily readable by the getters. Okay, so this is the understanding of Vue storefront request standard flow. Now let's jump to the GraphQL query and mutation using Shopify by SDK. So what is GraphQL query? Basically, query is mechanism that is used for the retrieve the data from any of the backend. So in GraphQL, a query is similar work query work is similar, and it is responsible to read the data to your API client. And none of the e-commerce system can be say perfect without any operation can be performed on the return result. So for that, we have a mutation, and basically mutation is used for the insert, update, and delete operations. So let's explore the Shopify by types of client. So you can see in the figure that we have explored two types of client. The first one is client, and another one is a custom client. So why we need two types of client? Basically, Shopify by is providing us two version of its library. The one is optimized version, and another one is unoptimized version. Optimized version is basically containing most commonly used properties by the developers, and it is retrieve those information which is most commonly used by the developers. So it is optimized response from this default client, which is optimized version, and unoptimized version having a large amount of data which can be actually from the storefront API from the Shopify. So let's explore the custom client. So many of you having question that why we need Shopify custom client. So as discussed, custom client is that is not required to use custom client and client both client in your project, but it depends on case to case. As it is totally depends up to your use case that which fields exactly you want to retrieve from your Shopify backend. So if you have a basic web app, then you can go with the default client, and if you have any special requirement and advanced fields to be retrieved, then you can use the custom client. So similar to the default client, we can build the custom client using build client method of the Shopify by SDK and make it usable. So let's see the example of the custom client. Here you can see that we are using the context.customclient.graphql.query, and this is the example of the product detail page where we are retrieving the product information by its slug. So as a operator, we are using the product by handle and passing the argument as a slug as an argument. So I'm retrieving the product ID, product title, available options, and the option name on its values, as well as the images available for that particular product. Here you can see that we have used add method, and somewhere we have used add connection method. So why these two methods are here? Let me clear you that you if any property is on the same level of the your query, then you can directly use the add, which is for example id. And if some property is like it is containing object, for example images, so here in the figure you can see that images are consist of id, alter text, origin source, and transformed src. So this property cannot be directly accessible by the add method. So for that we have to use add connection method, and as an argument we have to retrieve uh, the data, how many data you need to retrieve, that should be passed as an argument. So for the developers, there is one very useful tool which is called GraphQL, and it is very helpful to developers that it that can developers can easily uh, uh, know about the accepted data. Let me show you the example. So here we are preparing one request, uh, and as a response we will get the result. So here you can see that the result pattern is exactly same what we have actually requested. Yes, that is the magic of GraphQL, and uh, it is reactive. GraphQL query is reactive, so that you can easily make the alternate in the position, like you can use the id after options, or you can fetch the images before the id. That all will be the same. So a GraphQL API is smart enough. You can also use the REST API, but I personally recommend to use the GraphQL. There are many benefits of it. I will share the link in the references so that you can find more information about using the GraphQL. So it's talk to for the GraphQL is completed. Now what about the PWA stores? PWA headless support app stores. Let me give you one example. Suppose if you have migrated your web app, which is already on traditional approach, and you have migrated to the Shopify headless or any of the e-commerce headless platform. Now what about your app store traffic? Do you again need to redevelop entire app and publish it to the app store again? Because obviously traffic is matters for our business. That's why it is important to our all any of the APK should be there to get the traffic from the web app stores as well. So again, do you need any dedicated team? So answer is no, because PW headless is supporting the app stores in a no time. Yes, we have a trusted web activity which is announced by the Google itself, and using trusted web activity. You can no need, you do not have to need any of the dedicated team, and you can build your APK version of your web app in no time. But there is some limitations, like you should have installed a Google Chrome on your mobile devices, as well as this solution is currently available for the Android only, and for the Apple Store maybe you should have to wait. Okay, so finally, a good news is a Shopify integration is development ready. Of course, this is not official announcement, and this is currently in the beta phase, and currently running on the VSF Next version 2.2.1. You can also find out the official repository of the Shopify integration on github.com/viewstorefront/Shopify, and which is maintained by the Oriat Labs. And you can also find out the working running demo on the web on shopify-pwa-beta.oriatlabs.com. You can find out the current progress and status of the Shopify integration on Vue Storefront Next on this URL, and also a Shopify documentation is work in progress, and you can review the documentation on this URL. So now it's time for the Shopify integration live demo. So let's see the demo. Let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so it's time for the live demo. You can see the demo is currently running on the Shopify pwa-beta.oriatlabs.com, and here you are seeing the all the categories available here, and this all the data is coming from the Shopify backend. You can perform the sorting operations. Then you can find out the product information. You can see any of the product detail. Make the product add to cart. This is the micro cart. You can update the cart, and also remove the product from the cart. And let me quickly log into the front end. So now we are logged in, and you can see on my screen that user information is directly coming from the Shopify admin area, and you can easily make it manipulate, like you can update the user profile, as well as you can manage the user addresses. You can also update the user billing address, shipping address, and your customer can easily go through your his order history and order detail. So let me quickly add one product to the Shopify store, and let you see that how it is fetching the data. So on my screen I have already and inserted the information. Here I am adding one product titled VSF Meetup Demo product, and I am already added some details, and let's make it active. So product is now added, and let's see is it available or not. So we have added a product to our bestseller category, and you can see that the product is available now, VSF Meetup Demo product here. So this is coming from the backend area of the Shopify. Okay, so we have you can find out more information using these references, and that is from my end. If you have any questions, please ask, raise your hand. Thank you.